So today's guest is another amazing, nice, chill, wonderful friend I've met recently. He also started recently streaming. He's always into simulators lately, and he's got me into TCG Card Shop Simulator. He likes dinosaurs, Warhammer mostly. We'll find out during the episode. He's always so fun to watch. Whether he's playing, as I said, a dino game or opening cards in TCG Card Shop Simulator, it's always a blast watching his streams. Please welcome Brad, aka Bradgikarp, to tonight's episode.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I have to ask you that. This is the first question I ask every guest. How are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just woke up, just ready for this new day.
I feel that. It's a new day for you, and it's 7:30 p.m. for me. So.
Oh yeah. Can you tell me about how you discovered Twitch, how you decided to become a streamer, and a little bit about the channel?
Yeah, of course. So I've been watching on Twitch for I can't remember how long, at least sort of 5 or 6 years now, and sort of way back at the start said to myself this is something I could see myself doing one day maybe, but never really had the confidence to go ahead with it. And just through watching other people's streams and seeing that, you know, it's not necessarily overly confident people that stream, anyone can do it, that sort of gave me my own confidence to sit in the chair and give it a crack. I took a lot of inspiration unfortunately from people like Dr. Disrespect, who obviously in recent times I've lost any respect I had for that side of that particular person. But I found him to be an incredibly engaging streamer way back at the start, and then through watching him and similar streamers, found myself getting further away from sort of the mainstream into more I wouldn't say niche, but smaller communities, and building relationships there, and decided that this year was going to be the year that I'd do it, and here we are. We're 10 months in, and we're affiliated. We're 5 followers off 100, so we're getting there.
That's cool, but do I say that Dr. Disrespect falls into the same category as what's going on with Mr. Beast, or is it something different?
Similar thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, those big names happen to just get the backlash at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, if for anyone who doesn't know about it, all you got to do is Google him now and see exactly what's going on. But he's done something that's not exactly a nice thing, not even remotely a nice thing. So any sort of respect I had for him's gone, and I find myself now, my inspiration comes from smaller streamers and people that I've interacted with, like yourself, and the people that have supported me in my channel and growing myself and my stream. So yeah.
So we can say it's kind of like a disrespect case now.
I guess you could, yeah.
Your name is Brad, but where did the name Bradgikarp come from? We know like Magikarp is a Pokemon, but how did that combination come to you?
Yeah, so I actually didn't come up with it. A close friend of mine and the Calf Master, we were at his birthday at an event in the city, and we were just sort of, look, I'm not shy about it. I used to partake in the illicit activities, and we'd had a few had a few things, and we were sitting at the bar, and he just turned to me and he goes, "Man, wouldn't it be funny if you changed your name on Facebook to Bradgikarp?" And I did, and the rest is history. It's been my nickname ever since. So.
That's funny, because now that you mentioned Calf Master, it's how I met you, honestly. Like, he was like, well, my friend is gonna stream. I'm like, oh, which friend? He's like, Brad. He's my IRL friend. I haven't been in contact with him since like forever, and I ran into him the other day, and he told me that he's gonna stream, and this is how it happened.
Yeah, so funnily enough, we both reconnected at the guy who gave me the nickname. It was at his wedding. We sort of half sat on our table, and I've known him for a long time. His dad and my dad are very close friends. He's a few years younger than me, so we never really I wouldn't say that we weren't friends, but we weren't close friends. But always never had an issue with him. Great guy. And then after we caught up at the wedding, we sort of kept in touch. He added me on Discord, and I was playing. One of the first games I streamed was the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh, I remember that kind of. But I also remember you playing Deadpool. That's where I got into the channel.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I was playing that, and he messaged me out of the blue and said, "Hey man, how's the game? How are you finding it?" And I said, "Well, mate, I'm streaming it if you want to check it out." And from that point forward, he was just such a huge supporter, and still is such a massive supporter. And then within a couple of streams, I'd met yourself, I'd met Mama Loz, and continually the community started to grow and build. Met some incredible people just through you guys. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you manage being a parent and streaming?
I'm really lucky in that my wife, and one of our mods, Em, she's an incredible mum, and she's taken it upon herself to make sure that I can get the time I need to stream. We alternate our nights with our son on who puts him to bed. So some nights I'll start at 7:30 my time, or I'll start at 8:30 depending on if I've done the bed routine. But she is, if something pops up while I'm on stream, if he wakes up while I'm on stream, she covers everything. She's, I wouldn't be doing any of this without her support. I can tell you that much for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. So you do mostly a variety of games, but what games are you willing to play on stream in the future, and what games do you not see yourself playing?
I am, as you said at the start, I love simulation games. There's multiple coming up on my wish list that are going to pop up on stream as they come out. In terms of what I won't play, you probably won't see me playing much. I like MMOs in my spare time, but I don't think they're fun to watch other people play. If I could sit there and play an MMO for hours upon hours, but I get lost in it and don't. That's something I probably don't tend to interact much with. And whereas when I'm playing a single player game that's not got a whole lot more going on like an MMO does, it's easier to interact with chat and sort of focus and make sure that I am interacting and not fading off to myself. So yeah, MMOs are probably something I won't stream. But I think apart from that, anything else is fair game.
Yeah, but Warhammer isn't that much of a simulator. It's more of a little bit of an intense game. So how do you just manage to just be so chill playing those games?
It's funny you say that because I consider myself incredibly unchill when I'm playing games, but I find that being on stream and having chat there to sort of level my head and balance me out makes a big difference. For example, I can sit there and play Warhammer and die to something a couple of times and not get too phased. But I was playing Ratchet and Clank this afternoon with my son, and I died twice to the final boss, and I was getting I was getting real angry with the game. Whereas, I can be on stream and just not have to worry. It doesn't bother me as much when I'm on the camera. And I think maybe that's a subconscious thing where I know I've got people watching me, and it's calm yourself down and make sure that you're not overreacting and that sort of thing. But then you see other streamers that they thrive on the overreactions, and it's a fine line. But I don't think It's a strange, it's weird. It's a strange balance of trying to make sure that I'm not overreacting, but trying to make sure that I'm putting out good content, if that makes sense.
What are your limits regarding your streams? What would piss you off? What could get someone banned besides them being a bot?
So as we encountered a couple of months back in one of my streams, I can't stand racism, homophobia, anything like that. Anything that makes people feel uncomfortable or unsafe is entirely unwelcome. That's where people start getting banned. And unfortunately, we had that guy in my stream that day, and he was making some pretty terrible jokes, and what he was referring as jokes, but they weren't funny. They were just offensive. Look, I'm all for a dark joke. I like a laugh, but I not at the expense of people's feelings and that sort of thing. So yeah, the whole idea of the stream is for it to be a safe place. I'm not here to make enemies. I'm here to make friends. I'm here to make people feel safe and have a good time. I want the stream to emulate that. So yeah, if someone's in there causing trouble like that, they're out. We don't need that in there. So
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that. So how many hours per day or week in general do you spend on Twitch?
If I'm not streaming, I've usually got if I'm on my computer, if I'm not in the lounge, I've usually got a stream up. So, and then even when I'm at work, I'll chuck streams on to support people that I follow or people that I know if I know they're streaming. So I guess the majority of the time my PC's on, there's a Twitch stream on it. So yeah, probably at least sort of it's probably more, but I'd say at least 4 hours a day. There's a stream that I'm actively watching, and at least the other 20 to 18 hours of the day there's a stream that I'm lurking in somewhere.
Yeah, I spend most of my waking hours on Twitch, except when I'm during my alone time, which is like when I go to bed, I just lay down, put on a series, put on YouTube. That's my alone time, so that's when I'm not on Twitch. But to the new people out there who just started streaming or are thinking about it, that may be listening now, what's one advice you want to give them?
Don't give up. Early on, even after I met yourself and after Karp had come into support, sort of, the channel was still pretty small, and in my head I was, I've had a history of mental health issues, and I was letting that weigh on myself, and sort of, am I doing the right thing? And I've stuck with it, and we've now, like I said, we're now affiliated. We're 5 off 100. Yeah, keep at it. Like there's nothing. If you set your mind to something, there's nothing you can't achieve. And especially with support from, make sure that if people are coming into your stream and they're interacting with you, make sure you interact with them back and build that community to the point where you've got people around you that are going to support you and help you grow and help you build that community and those relationships. So yeah, don't ever give up. Stick with it.
So since we both like games, we're gonna play a little bit, like a few mini games. So maybe get a notepad or like write them down, because I'm gonna give you a few names. So this mini game consists of I will name a set of 3 games each time. You'll have to tell me which one you'd play, which one you'd delete from existence, and which one you'd uninstall. It's kind of like Kill, Marry, Sleep With. That also includes the whole franchise. So if I give you 3 games first time, if you say play, the whole franchise stays. If you say delete, the whole franchise is gone. And uninstall is like kind of like play once all the way through, play once a little bit, and then uninstall.
Okay, cool.
Alright, you have 3 jokers that also allow you to delete all of them or save all of them. You cannot save 2, delete 1, delete 2, or save 1. You're also free to skip any of these if you feel stuck. So the first 3 are Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and Battlefield.
Delete Counter-Strike, play Battlefield, and yeah, I guess play once Call of Duty. I prefer Battlefield over Call of Duty. Uninstall, sorry. Yeah, uninstall. Yeah.
Alright. Apex, Fortnite, and Valorant.
That's a hard one because I just got back into Valorant. I would say, delete Apex, uninstall Fortnite, and play Valorant. We'll go with that.
PUBG, Overwatch, and Halo.
Oh man, play Halo, delete Overwatch, uninstall PUBG.
Alright, Valheim, Stardew Valley, Minecraft.
I've never played Stardew Valley, but I've heard nothing but good things about it, so let's go with, we'll go play Valheim. Man, I'm gonna say uninstall Minecraft and delete Stardew Valley, just purely based on my personal experiences.
Fair enough. It's all about your personal experience. Don't base it on what people like.
Yeah.
So, Gears of War, The First Descendant, Once Human.
Play Gears of War, delete The First Descendant, and uninstall Once Human.
Okay, Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, Diablo.
Oh man, come on.
Oh, it's gonna get even tougher.
Let's go with. Oh wow, that's tough.
You can use a joker if you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to use a joker and keep all three.
Alright. Warhammer, Throne and Liberty, Guild Wars.
Play Warhammer. Uninstall Throne and Liberty. Delete Guild Wars.
The Sims, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and Palia.
I haven't played The Sims or Palia. I have played Dreamlight Valley, so I'll go with play Dreamlight Valley, uninstall The Sims, delete Palia.
Okay, Quake, Doom, and the Elder Scrolls series.
Oh man. I've already used my save. Alright, let's go with play the Elder Scrolls, uninstall Doom, and delete Quake. Oh, that hurts to say.
Now we're gonna go into the horror aspect of games with Lethal Company, Content Warning, and Among Us.
Play Lethal Company, uninstall Among Us, and delete Content Warning.
Okay, Dead Rising, Mortuary Assistant, The Walking Dead.
I'm going to go with play Dead Rising, uninstall Mortuary Assistant, and delete The Walking Dead.
Okay, the Fallout series, Dead Space, and Mass Effect.
Play Fallout, uninstall Mass Effect, delete Dead Space.
DayZ, The Forest, and The Quarry.
Play The Forest, because I love The Forest. Uninstall DayZ and delete The Quarry.
Okay, Phasmophobia, Demonologist, Devour.
I guess play Phasmophobia, delete Devour, and uninstall The Demonologist.
Okay, Visage or Visage, Madison, and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Play Visage, delete Madison. Sorry, uninstall Madison, delete Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, Dead Island, Dying Light, and Left 4 Dead.
I would say play Left 4 Dead, uninstall Dying Light, and delete Dead Island.
Alan Wake, Resident Evil, The Evil Within.
Play Alan Wake, uninstall Resident Evil, delete The Evil Within.
Dead by Daylight, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Killer Clown from Outer Space, the game.
Let's go with delete Dead by Daylight. Play Texas Chainsaw and uninstall Killer Clowns.
Okay, Little Nightmare, the Alien series, and Silent Hills.
And I love Little Nightmare, but it's got to be play Silent Hill, uninstall the Alien series, and delete Little Nightmares.
Okay, 7 Days to Die, Project Zomboid, and The Last of Us.
Man, play The Last of Us, uninstall 7 Days to Die, delete Project Zomboid.
Okay, we are leaving the horror games and going back to normal games. Fall Guys, Party Animals, Chain Together.
Play Fall Guys, uninstall Chain Together, delete Party Animals.
Okay, Cyberpunk, GTA, and Saints Row.
Play Cyberpunk, uninstall GTA, delete Saints Row, especially after that last one.
Alright, the last 3 rows are Pal World, Pokemon, and the Digimon games.
Play Pokemon, uninstall Power World, delete Digimon.
TCG Card Shop Simulator, Supermarket Simulator, and Supermarket Together.
Play TCG Card Shop Sim, uninstall Supermarket Simulator, delete Supermarket Together.
Alright, the final one is Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider.
Oh man. Oh,
You still have 2 jokers.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Kind of want to keep all 3. They're all so good.
Alright, we're keeping them then.
Done.
Alright, so the next game is called Rename the Game. The goal of this mini game consists of simply coming up with different names for games or changing one word from the game name using a different chosen word. Let's say, for example, the word is probably cult. Let's say that's an example. Alan cult, Grand Theft cult, etc. So it's all improvised. We each have to think of a game name and modify it until the time runs out, which is like 2 minutes. Or if someone says as the same game again, they lose. So today's word is carp.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll start with carp flipper.
The Carpivus.
Assassin's Carp Mirage.
Carp Rising.
The Mortuary Carp.
Carp and Liberty.
Carp Mayer's Civilization 6.
American Carp Simulator.
Batman Carp Asylum.
Aliens Colonial Carp.
Carp Rising.
Deep Carp Galactic.
The Carp Box Party Pack.
Grey Carp Warfare.
Carps on Stream.
Jurassic Carp Evolution 2.
Carp Shop Simulator.
Resident Carp 4.
The Carp Dead the Game.
Robocop Carp City.
The Carp Hit and Run.
Zombie Carp Trilogy.
Kingdom Carps.
Let's go Quantum Carp.
Carp Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
A Carp Tale Innocence.
Carp by Daylight.
Carp of Eternity.
Carp Coaster.
Payday the Carp.
Dying Carp.
Carp Champions.
Grocery Carp Simulator.
Sid Meier's Carp 5.
Okay. The Eternal Carp.
Sonic the Carp 4.
Left for Carp 2.
Ooh, State of Carp.
Cult of the Carp.
Stranded Carp.
Carp Space.
Unreal 2, The Carpening.
Alright, that's all the time we have. I think it's like you gave a little bit more than me, so you win. Alright, this is segment 3. It's kind of like a lightning round / pop quiz, so those are random questions. Do you mind telling me and the listeners what's your daily routine? Like something you like to do now has become regular?
I get home from work and picking up my son, and I like to just sit down and watch a Disney movie with him most nights.
Okay. If you ever were to be any object or creature, whether real or fictional, what would you be and why?
Polar bear, because they're incredible creatures. I think they're gorgeous animals. Yeah, and to live in the snow would just be kind of sick.
Yeah. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve? People who chew with their mouth open.
Oh yeah. Mine is, it's a little bit of a cliche side, or on the cliche side, it's more like miscommunication. So that throws me off a lot.
Yeah, fair. I feel that as well.
Yeah. What's one thing or person you cannot live without?
My wife and my son. So can I combine them as one?
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah, cool.
All right. What's your comfort off-stream game?
Comfort off-stream game? Oh, that's a tough one. I guess my favourite game of all time would be... No, it's not really that. Comfort off-stream game. TCG Card Shop Simulator at the moment, I guess.
Oh yeah, I am so addicted to that as well.
Yeah.
I had customers the other day and they were waiting and I'm like, hold on, I'm just opening cards.
Just ripping packs.
Yeah. What would you do with $1 million?
What would I do with $1 million? Pay off my mortgage and take my family on a holiday.
Okay. What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Favorite hobbies? I paint Warhammer figures in my spare time. Obviously, I game a lot. But I also like collecting or building Lego and collecting Lego sets.
Oh, nice.
And board games as well. Like I've got a whole lot of board games that used to have regular catch ups with some friends and do board game nights, which we're looking at starting again soon. So
You know what would be cool now that you mentioned that? If you build like a Lego set on stream, Mama Laws would go crazy.
it's on my list of things to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. People do a lot of like makers and craft streams.
Yeah, I've watched a few people that sort of they build Lego in between games, like when they're playing online multiplayer. They build a Lego set in between finding
Oh,
pieces.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What's one thing you spend a lot of money on besides games?
Spend a lot of money on besides games. My son, I get spoilt rotten.
Okay, so this is a three-part question. What's one of your all-time favorite songs or a song that you've been listening to on repeat lately?
My all-time favorite song is "Everlong" by the Foo Fighters, and I guess on the same note, a song that I cannot get out of my head and has been on repeat is weirdly enough, like it's not even my genre of music. I can't stop listening to "Guess" by Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish.
Oh, I love that song.
It's just ingrained in my brain.
I love Charlie XCX as a person, like he's my male crush, honestly. So I love his songs.
I cannot stop listening to it. And like I said, it's not even my genre of music. Like I normally listen to like rock and metal and that sort of thing, but I heard it the other day and it just will not leave my head.
Guess. I don't think that's that's Charlie Puth. It's Charlie XCX.
Yeah, Charlie XCX.
Yeah, you said Puth. That's
why
why.
I said XCX.
Did you? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really love her. She's one of the best. So Charlie XCX is my go-to, but Charlie Puth is my male crush, honestly.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So I was like, I was confused. Like, Charlie Puth, I know his discography. He doesn't have a song called Guess. So, yeah. So what's one of your all-time favorite movies?
All-time favorite movies? Con Air with Nick Cage. Like it's such a bad movie that it's so good.
Oh, yeah. I used to like a movie called The Fault in Our Stars, but then I was like, well, that's a little bit of like a dramatic movie, so I outgrew it. Lately, I don't have a specific favorite movie, so I balance, like I jump between like slashers, and whatever I see fit, I just watch.
Like Con Air is like my favorite movie of all time, but then
Yeah.
if I was talking like other favorite movies and that, so the Halloween franchise with Michael Myers are some of my all-time favorite horror movies. Hot Rod by the Lonely Island. I used to have that on repeat all the time, but yeah, my go-to like favorite movie is Con Air. Just it's so, like I said, it's so stupid and it's so dumb, but it's just so good.
Yeah, on that scale, I think I've seen something similar. It's not Dumb and Dumber, but it's what's the name of the movie again? Oh, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on the same scale.
So yeah, it's so dumb, but it's so good.
Yeah. What's one of your all-time favorite TV shows or series?
Scrubs, hands down. I could watch Scrubs on repeat over and over again and not get bored of it. I've seen every episode at least 5 or 6 times. Except for season 9, we don't talk about season 9. There's only 8 seasons. We don't acknowledge season 9.
What's with season 9? What did it do to you?
So season 9, they decided, most of the main cast sort of only appeared in minor roles, and they sort of tried to bring in a new cast, but it didn't quite work. And they only did 1 season, and they canned it. So a lot of people don't watch it when they do rewatches, purely because it just doesn't live up to the rest of the series.
Oh wow, yeah. I've seen a lot of good shows get cancelled lately. Like for example, I have a grudge against Hulu for cancelling. Even though the shows, like the other day I was discussing it with someone and they told me like How I Met Your Father was bad. I was like, it is one of the best things I've ever seen lately. Like I like Hilary Duff and I like her acting, and I was like very sad when they canceled it at season 2. Same goes for the Kat Dennings series, Dollface.
I hadn't heard of Dollface. I've heard of How I Met Your Father.
Yeah,
I hadn't watched it yet, but I hadn't heard that. I'd heard that it was okay. That it was a pretty good show. So
yeah. Dollface is like, Kat Dennings. So,
yeah,
so she's in like, she has this cat lady that appears every time she has an anxiety attack or a depression episode. So we don't see her get anxious. We only see her shift into her mind, where that cat lady is kind of her conscience, trying to take her into like weird, let's say she's standing somewhere and then suddenly the table just moves out of its way and there's like a door that opens and she's in an alternate dimension. It is one of those funny series with Brenda Song in it as well. It is such a weird experience and I really enjoyed it, but I'm sad they cancelled it at a cliffhanger on season 2. I'm like, why? Just why?
I'll look into it. I haven't heard of it, but it sounds pretty good.
It is so good, yeah. It is so good. They started it in 2021 and they ended it like fairly in 2023 with 2 seasons.
Okay.
So, so if you had one special superpower, what would it be and why, and how would you use it?
One special superpower. One special superpower. I guess, like maybe super speed, purely so that I could make it to work on time in the morning, or to grab the family and shoot off somewhere for the weekend and not have to worry about travel time and that sort of thing.
Mine would be something similar to speed. It's teleportation.
Yep.
But when you said super speed, you reminded me of that episode in The Big Bang Theory where they were going to Comic-Con and they were all dressed as the Flash, and then they decided to just stand behind each other and act as they were one person, just running super fast.
Yep.
Oh. So if your life was ever to be a video game or a movie, what would it be named and why?
If my life was to be a video game or a movie, man, The Dull Adventures of Brad, maybe. Outside of my stream, like I lead a pretty mundane, my family like is exciting and that sort of thing, but my job's not overly exciting. Like it's pretty standard retail job, but I don't know, like it's not nothing overly exciting, I guess. So yeah, like The Dull Adventures of the Bradgikarp, maybe.
Speaking of retail,
like
there is a game called Retail Company Simulator. Will you be looking into that since you work in retail?
I will be now. I hadn't heard of that one. Retail Company Simulator.
Yeah. It came out fairly recently.
I'll look into that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I've got my eye on Saloon Simulator. This next one coming out that I'm interested in.
Yeah. So which of these 3 things you would give up if you ever had to? Money, gaming, or love?
Money.
So which of these 3 things would you give up if you ever had to? Money, gaming, or love?
Money.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, obviously you need money to game, but I guess I could live with the games that I already have, and I couldn't live without the love of my family. So definitely give up money over the other 2.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite questions. If you had to switch lives with one celebrity from today for one day, who would you pick and why?
Interesting question. One celebrity from today. A couple of weeks ago, I would have said Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
But after his recent baby scandal, not Dave Grohl anymore. Maybe, man, it's a tough one. Maybe Ryan Reynolds, just so that I could say that I am Deadpool, I guess. that'd be like that'd be the one, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Deadpool, I have Deadpool and Wolverine in wrestling now. So if you ever have the time, like in November, I might do a Deadpool versus Wolverine match and see who wins. If you want to drop by and see.
I'll make sure I'm there.
Yeah, because at some point, I think I did like villains, like serial killers against each other, and I think Michael Myers won. And then I did all like several Royal Rumbles. The first one, Ned Flanders won the 30-man match, and then Jason Voorhees won the 10-man match.
Myers winning sounds right. He's out of all the slashers from history, he's like the most sinister.
Yeah.
So I could see him winning that tournament.
Yeah, I even put Biden versus Trump, and I think Biden won. And I put Mr. Monopoly versus Mr. Krabs, like greed versus money, or both of them greed. And I think Mr. Monopoly won.
Mr. Monopoly versus Mr. Krabs. That is never a matchup I thought I'd hear.
I mean, that was something. So, what would your alter ego be named, and what would they do if you had one?
Alter ego. For a while there, I sort of had an alter ego, I guess you'd call it. So when I was drinking with friends, I'd put on a persona of this guy named Derek, and he was just a scumbag. Like he just drink and sit in a corner, like just yelling insults at people, which like it sounds really sinister, but it was all like in jest and that sort of thing. It turns out Derek wasn't super popular, so Derek doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my god, I'm laughing because I'm trying to imagine it. Nerd now is like, no, nerd, and he drinks, for example, like, oh, you suck, or heckling people.
Pretty much just heckling people, sitting in a corner. I'd always, if I was pretending to be Derek, I'd put like on dark glasses, even in like a dark room or a dark backyard. I'd have dark glasses on, sit in the corner and just annoy people. He didn't prove to be very popular, so Derek's not around anymore. But yeah, I guess that was my alter ego, so I'll go with him. Yeah, so he didn't prove to be super popular. So, but yeah, he if I had an alter ego, which I guess I did, it'd be Derek. Although I'd probably change his personality. He wouldn't be an asshole anymore. He'd just be like, man, I don't think I'm like an overly unfriendly person, but I guess I'd make him more friendly than I am in everyday life.
Yeah, mine would be kind of the same, like the opposite of me. I'm like all nice and like friendly. So my alter ego would be quite the opposite. He's very evil. He's very rude. He's very like he has evil intentions and malicious intentions. So yeah, maybe Bob.
That works. That tracks.
Yeah. So those are food-related questions. What is your favorite drink of choice?
Pepsi Max.
Wow.
I drink Coke occasionally, but Pepsi Max is my go-to.
Wow. Mine, if it was alcoholic, it's Jaeger bomb, but you know that Jaeger bomb is done with like Jaeger and energy drink. I add vodka and I add sparkling water to it.
Okay.
And my drink of choice is, of course, I don't drink soda, so sparkling water. The last time I had soda, like on a daily basis, was 2021. But I tried the new Mirinda that's apple flavored last week.
Okay.
It is so good. So what's the weirdest food you've ever had?
The weirdest food I've ever had? The weirdest food I've ever had? Probably like pickled octopus.
Oh my god,
It wasn't
same.
good.
Same.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, mine was snuck into my food. Like my cousin likes to experience with her with her food. So she took everything that's curry related, like the powders and everything. She mixed them, the spices. She mixed them with the rice and made it like yellow. And instead of those chicken bits and mushrooms, she put in teeny tiny octopuses. And when I chewed on one, I was like, "Why is it chewy? Why is it delicious? And get it out of my mouth." Yeah.
We were at I was working for a company, and I just passed my 6-month probation, and my boss just took me out for dinner to like this fancy restaurant, and they just sort of said, "Oh, we'll have one of everything," and they were pretty like, not pressuring, but they're like, "Oh, we want you to try everything. The whole idea of this role is you'll be taking clients out to dinner, and not every client wants to just go to the pub and have a pub meal. So you've got to try and broaden your food horizons." So I tried this pickled octopus, and it was the single most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Oh
was
my
horrible.
God. Why do people pickle things like that? Like, why?
Just don't pickle things, guys. Don't just leave them alone.
Yeah,
not everything needs to be pickled.
I am okay with pickled turnips. They're so delicious, I could eat them every day, but like, I kind of have a small allergy towards cucumbers, so I think that pickles are just cucumbers that decided to be evil and start a cult or start rebelling against people. So yeah, keep those things as far away as possible, which is why I tell my dad pickled cucumbers are not allowed in this house, please. And he can have like pickled anything else, but not cucumbers.
Yeah, no, thank you. Pickled food, keep it away.
Yeah. Well, you're the first person that agrees with me on that point. What's your favorite comfort food of all time?
Favorite comfort food? I'm going to go with... favorite comfort food? It's going to have to be hash browns. I could eat hash browns any time of day.
Wow, mine would be either chocolate or pineapple pizza. Like any day, anytime, anywhere, whenever.
I like chocolate, but I can't just sit down and just rip into a block of chocolate and be like, yeah, this is great. But I could sit down and happily smash out like 6 or 7 hash browns and be like, yeah, I feel heaps better now. Hey.
Yeah, and during the summer, my comfort food was ice cream. I don't usually have a lot of ice cream, even though I love it. But this summer, I decided like, okay, let's be an ice cream whore and just eat ice cream all summer. So.
Ice cream's good. Like, depends what kind of ice cream it is, though. Like, are we talking just plain vanilla, or are we talking flavored?
No. We had something here, like it's kind of like caramelized vanilla that they mixed in with like those little gummy bears in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they put it into that, and they put it in like a plastic serving plate, and they sold it in stores.
Okay, but the idea of gummy bears and ice cream intrigues me. I might have to try that.
A lot of Americans do that. Like I've seen them add like teeny tiny bits of chocolates on top or mix it together. I've seen them add like the weirdest things, like even those what's it called? Those jelly, not jelly bears, not jelly worms, but those. No, actually, it was hard candy that they mixed with the ice cream. Yeah.
There was a I don't know if it was worldwide, but there was a place that we used to have here in Australia. I don't know if there's many of them left, but it was called Cold Rock, and they had like they'd have a flavour of ice cream you could pick out, and then you could mix in like a massive selection of like lollies and chocolates and that sort of thing, and they had like gummy bears and jelly beans and all that sort of thing in there. Most of them closed down because they weren't super popular and they were super over expensive, but that reminds me of that, that you could like just mix in whatever the hell you wanted out of their range.
Hold on, I'm trying to Google what we have here. It's Pink Berry or something? Like pink we have Gelato Show here, a shop called Sweet Joint, but There's a very particular shop that we have here. I think it's
Okay.
Pink Berry or something.
Yep.
Where they serve like those those kind of things. It was very weird and very soothing at the same time. I don't know if it's still open. I haven't been to a mall in like forever. So, okay. Last question is: what's your favorite or a traditional food from your state or country?
Probably my favorite and like my go-to, and that's just because I'm just a generic white boy here in Australia, is just a good old chicken schnitzel and chips from the pub with gravy.
Oh, schnitzels are so good.
It's yeah, I had one for lunch today. We went out for lunch and I had a schnitzel. I could have picked anything else off the menu. I'm like, nah, I'm having a schnitzel. That. I guess that's also a comfort food. But yeah, it's too good to pass up. When you see a schnitty on a menu, you're like, I've got to try that.
Mm-hmm. So this is the final segment. It's the mental health segment. In this segment, we're going to be talking about a lot of things between the struggles of that Brad told me he had in the past with depression and everything in beyond, in between. So I know mental health is not an easy subject to talk about. Brad, this is your segment. I'm gonna just shut up. Just share your experience.
Okay. Back sort of when I was 16 in high school, it's weird to talk about because I'm not in that space anymore, but it's still raw and it's still a wound, I guess. But I was the victim of a lot of bullying in high school, to the point where, and trigger warning, guys, I a couple of times attempted to take my own life.
No worries about trigger warning. We've spoken about rape. We've spoken about overdose. We've spoken about a lot of dark things. So don't worry about that.
Cool. Well, not cool, but yeah, you know what you know what I mean. I tried to hang myself 3 times in total, and sort of between the age of 16 to 17. I vividly remember a neighbour of mine finding out because my sister told them that why I wasn't at school, and told them that I tried to attempted to take my own life. I got a message from someone at my school saying, "Hey, fuckhead! I wish you'd succeeded. Hope you never come back," which was like pretty jarring to receive, especially after that. Like it wasn't a cry for attention, more than it was a cry for help, I guess, from me, and sort of trying to get my parents to see that there was something going on. It wasn't me just being a typical, being a moody teenager. I was having issues and struggling. And yeah, I got this message from someone at my school who, it's weird because I look back at it now and I wouldn't say I've forgiven that person, but seeing what's happened to them in their adult life, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like that's, I guess karma's come back and got that particular person. But
Yeah.
I was super, super ashamed of that part of my life for so long.
Yeah. I've had something similar kind of like happen to me on that note because during summer camp I was severely bullied. I was called out for my voice every time I go just to hang out in the courtyard. A person comes and takes my cap away and he calls me, "Oh, are you gay? Are you gonna be gay about it?" Yeah. Well, now I found them on Grindr, so tables have turned.
Tables have turned. Yeah, it's like I said, I was so ashamed of that part of my life, and it wasn't something I liked talking about. And then, seeing and hearing stories of other people who'd been through the same thing and had come out on the other side healthier and stronger. I was doing a class. So my school that I went to, I enjoyed doing drama, and I wasn't able to do drama at my school and had to travel 40 minutes to another school to do drama, which funnily enough is where I met my wife. We went to the same school, but the teacher that I had for that drama class, and if she ever, if she ever stumbles upon this and hears me talking about this, like I hope that she knows that she is the person who saved my life. She's the person who showed me that things were better. And then I met my wife Em like a couple of weeks later, and I say that my teacher saved my life, but if it wasn't for Em keeping me on that path to be better and bring myself back out of that pit, I probably wouldn't be here without her and without that teacher. So it's like I said, it's not something I'm ashamed to talk about anymore, but at the time it was, and in a small country town that I grew up in, stuff like that has such a stigma around it. And looking back at it now, like, when I was going through what I was going through, I didn't have a massive friend group, and when it got around town, what had happened, like I said, I got that message, and the people just seemed ambivalent towards it. Yet after I left the town and moved to the city with Em, and another kid from that school was successful in his suicide attempt, and seeing all these people that hadn't given a shit about mine all of a sudden rally around this kid just because he happened to be one of the popular kids from the town was like, it was really jarring to see, I guess. Like, and then all of a sudden, all these people that you had either made comments, derogatory comments towards you that had attributed to your bullying and to your mental state, seeing them all of a sudden going, oh, it's you can beat these thoughts, like, you can get past this sort of thing. It's like, man, like 3 years ago you were telling people that they should go kill themselves. It's the double standards, especially in small country towns around mental health, are fucking insane. And I'm so glad that I got out of that town and got to a place and got a friend group and people around me that encouraged me to be better and do better. So I've spoken to several people now about what it's weird. Like, I'm sure people have suffered through worse and that sort of thing, but for me it was when I finally was able to open up and talk about it, and Em didn't know too much about it when we got together, and when I was finally able to open up and tell her, it's like such a massive relief. But yeah, like I'm past that now. I'm in a much better place. Occasionally, there's a day when I'm feeling down and I'm like, am I getting back to that place? But all it takes is sort of looking around and seeing the life that I've built, the people around me, the family that I have. It just brings you straight back out of that hole. So, if I guess what I'm trying to say through all of this is, if you are struggling and going through this, like, it does get better. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. It's there's always someone who's going to listen. You've just got to find that person, and then once you do, like, everything changes.
Yeah, I've been as I told you, like, with my experience, but now that you're talking about it, I even went further down into that memory lane, and I like looking back, like the, what did they call them, the noughties, or the 2000s were a different time. Like the early 2010s were completely different. I was even bullied at school for just taking meds for ADHD, like normal school. So people were like, oh, here comes the crazy guy who takes meds. Oh, he takes pills, he's crazy. So I had to deal with that for like every single year since I was 6 years old, or at least like 8 years old, when people found out I took meds, because every time I had to take my meds, I had to go excuse myself, go down to the toilets, buy a bottle of water, then take my meds, pretend I was peeing or pooping and then going back to class. But when people found out, it was hectic, honestly. And now I'm proud of it. I'm like, well, I take meds. I'm mental. Deal with it. If you want to be that toxic, deal with it. Don't talk to me then.
A big thing, especially in that country town that I grew up in, and I guess it's the same in a lot of other small country towns as well. But and that's this is from Australian perspective, and I'm sure around the world there's similar things. But especially growing up in sort of the late '90s, early 2000s, the stigma around homosexuality was such a massive thing, and if anyone even suspected like even a hint that you might be gay, or you had some tendency that might be considered gay, all of a sudden it's like that guy's, and that was a massive part of the bullying. It was like, he's massive gay, taboo. That guy's gay, it's a big taboo. And it was funny. I remember, like, as teenager going through your own head, and I remember saying to my mum one day, I was like, hey, if I did turn, if I was gay, what would you say? Like, how would you react? And she was like, oh, well, we'd still love and support you. Like, and I was like, okay, cool, no worries. And then when my brother came out, it was such a weird thing, because their reaction to him coming out was entirely different to how my mum told me she'd react if I had. So I'm not going to go into it too much, but their reaction was pretty horrific. They've since mended fences with my brother, and everything's okay now, but he cut him off for quite a while. And I think part of that was that whole stigma of growing up in a small town, and having all these eyes. Like, you had to have the perfect family, and if you didn't, everyone talked about you. So it was. I remember my dad saying to me after my second attempt, he's like, "Why can't you just be normal? We have a reputation in this town, and you're tarnishing that reputation." It was like to hear that from my dad when I was going through such a tough time was like, fuck, man. Having said that, like, my dad and I are really close now. We've mended our fences as well. So I'm not just here to say that my dad and my mum are shit bags. Like, they're people that have grown and learned from their mistakes. So. Yeah, especially like coming from their generation, because that's what I look at my dad and say, because my dad at some point he was like a sadist. Every time I pick a fight with him, we scream and shout, and it still happens, but like less than before. So every time he's like, look at him. I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so that moment when Voldemort in Goblet of Fire just pins Harry Potter like with like against the tree, and just he wants to poke his wound. Do you remember that scene? Yeah, that's how my dad is. Like, he slowly approaches that wound until he pokes it and makes you scream every single time. This is the depiction. I even sent him the video of it. Like, this is you and this is me. This is what you do. That's how annoying you are. So that's what I told him. Like, he was super annoying at some points. Like, he even tried to just like follow me everywhere I go in 2016, just know who my friends are. Considering he works as a car expert, he took their car plate number, he looked them up, and that started to annoy me. So we had a huge fight that led to him just leaving the house for 2 days. And I was like, well, if you're not going to change what your outlook and perspective is, you're not welcome in this house. And the bills, I'm going to tell the people, the bills, you're still going to be paying it. I'm not paying anything anymore. I'm not paying my internet bill. Everything's going to be back on you. If you're going to still be that stinky person that you are, I'm not going to do anything. I'll live here. If you don't want to pay for it, I'll make them send you a fine that you have to pay. So that's how he just manned up, and that's how he just like looked at things. And because my parents are divorced, something that he told my mom that do you think our son might be gay? She was like, well, if he's gay, like, let him live his life. He's almost 30, so it's not your life decisions, it's his. So like 20 years from now you won't be there, so let him live his life, let him
let him be whatever he wants. That was like, what, 5 years ago during the lockdown. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but now I'm pretty open in my house. I just wear whatever I want, like literally whatever I want. He doesn't have anything to do with it. It kind of took a lot to just change him. And not only that also affected my mental health along the way. Give it like take it as like I was being bullied at summer camp, at school, and at home by my father.
Yeah.
So now he's like a different person.
Yep.
So I kind of feel where parents come from, especially us millennials, because like that generation of parents, they had a different mindset. And I keep telling him, like, you lived in a different generation. You've witnessed probably wars. We're going through a war right here, right now, like at this moment. So our war is different than your war. So you've lived a different kind of like time, and we're living an advanced time, so people are more open-minded now than they ever were. So just whatever you see, just be open about it, because seeing him be accepting of other people being gay and not me kind of hurt me.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, he was like, oh, is your friend John gay? Well, he seems like a nice person. And then when I kind of like hinted at me being gay, he was like, oh, you're not gonna be a fag. You're not gonna be, like, he said that word in Arabic. You're not gonna be that person. I'm not accepting my son to be a sissy. That's what he said. And I'm like, well, you don't have a son then.
Yep.
Yeah. So Bradgikarp, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for putting time to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it. That's been planned for like what? It's like months now.
Months now. So
yeah.
I'm glad we finally got to do it, man. I'm sorry it took so long.
No worries. I understand, like, mental health, life happens, dealing with a lot of things. I understand. But yeah, it's better late than never.
That's it, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Guys, go check out Bradgikarp on Twitch. It's literally the episode handle, the episode name. Go follow him. Probably by the time this episode comes out, he would have reached more than 100 followers. So if you're listening, please go check Brad out. Probably go mess with him with the dinosaur or redeem. I love redeeming that. And I love when he looks at the camera and he's like, that deception in his face. I don't know why it feeds me, but it's so funny. Yeah,
I had to change the cost on that. You guys are abusing the hell out of it.
I mean, you could add something called Tangia to the stream and it's super funny. Trust me, if you add Tangia, I would use bits to just like either not only jump scare you, but like maybe troll you on stream, because there would be like those pipis or pepes or whatever they're called, that frog, the green one.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's the one of them with like long legs and just a face with like long ass socks walking through the screen, and people were like, what the hell is that? Like, that would be funny to see if you ever look into that. So
I'll look into it for sure.
Yeah. So guys, please take care of yourselves. Stay amazing, stay wonderful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.